Good morning and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to kick off this morning by just showing you where my blanket's got to now, and I don't know how well it's going to show on camera. It's now about 5 feet square, because we've measured it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about 5 feet square. That is 1100 grams of wool, and I've got another 500 to work in. So we'll see where it ends up, but it should be big enough to throw over the top of a double bed, I think, maybe when it's finished. Back on the chair. I'm enjoying working on it, actually. I really can lose myself in a book, an audio book, and crochet away. And my crocheting, I have to be careful because it gets tighter and tighter. Right, one more thing I want to show you before I start talking about my week and where I've been and where I'm going. Can you show the sky out?
Yeah.
We were in Asda about half an hour ago picking up some quark and things, and we found this. Can you read what it says, Joe?
It's just Skya Icelandic style pouring yogurt, natural, fat free.
And we had a bit of a bet coming home in the car because Joe said this will be sin free, and I said I'm not 100% convinced. No, in Slimming World there could be a catch in there somewhere, and he pointed out sugar free, fat free, and it's Icelandic style pouring yogurt. And when we got home we actually looked, and it is on the app. So this one is free. That's the natural. For a litre is free. If you buy the raspberry or the vanilla, they're half a sin per 100 mils or 5 sins for the litre, each one of those. And I assume that's because of the fruit and the sugars. But I haven't tried it yet, but we were thinking it could be quite versatile. It could be good for pouring over cereals rather than using your milk allowance or sinning yoghurt. Because if you like yoghurt and fruit on your cereals, this might be a nice way to do it. Right, my week. I've had a nice week. I've had quite a busy week. Quite reasonable amount of walking, Joe, would you say, this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 or 2 really good walks, yeah, and we went to the city on Thursday, didn't we? So reasonable amount of walking this week. Still only like 60 or 70% on plan. I know what I'm doing. That's the daft thing. I know what I'm doing, so why don't I stop it? Well, the place I'm in today, I am going to stop it, and I've got motivation to stop it. I had, quite a busy week. Few things on this week, a few things on this weekend. Joe's got to go to work. I'm going to a friend's because it's her birthday today, and she's cooking me lasagna, and we've got a birthday cake, and she's 86, so you can't just keep saying no all the time. I think I've got to learn to factor these odd occasions in and not beat myself up. Right, so my week culminated, I like that word, culminated in spending a day yesterday with Debbie from Debbie's World. Been looking forward to this for a couple of weeks since SlimCon was cancelled and Debbie had some time on her hands because she's a working girl. We decided to spend the day together, and she drove down to Nottingham from where she lives in Yorkshire. Nearly a couple of hours drive, so it's not just round the corner. So it was lovely to meet her. I've been corresponding via YouTube and texts and emails with Debbie for as long as she's been around YouTube, just prior to her coming on and making her own channel. And have to say, we've always hit it off, okay? You know, we've been quite chatty and friendly and everything, but I just couldn't anticipate meeting her because I wasn't going to SlimCon. I haven't been to either of the SlimCons, and I couldn't foresee a time when Debbie would be in Nottingham and it would be natural for us to meet. But because she had the time on her hands, she drove down yesterday. We spent the day together, and I have to say it was like spending a day with an old friend. I can't believe we'd never met before because she's such easy company. She told me before she came that she's very clumsy. I only have 3 bruises this morning, Debbie, all on this side, because Debbie was on this side. But guiding a blind person isn't easy. It's something you have to get practice at, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
It doesn't come like totally naturally because you have to think about the width of 2 people. And Debbie and I were laughing because if we'd had to think about the width of us, when I was 22 stone and Debbie was 26 and a half, can you imagine how much more space we would have taken up and how difficult it would have been to go shopping? And yesterday we were just gliding around the shops, no problem, in and out the changing rooms, no problem. And my first impression of Debbie, when she got out of the car and gave me a hug, was, my God, you're slim. She was just, I don't know what I expected. She's taller than me, and she's lovely and slim. And you know, when you've been really morbidly obese yourself, and you know what that feels like, and when you can't see yourself in a mirror, so I can't judge my size, and I can't judge your size because I can't see you either, but when you hug somebody and you think, oh my goodness, you know, she's just so slim. And you said the same, didn't you? You said she was smaller than you expected.
Yeah.
And I think I have a friend who used to work in television who always used to say to me that on a screen we will all look 10 pounds fatter than we are. If that's not an incentive to lose weight, I don't know what is. Right, okay, so what I want to talk about today, what I need to say is Debbie recorded a video for YouTube for her channel, which will be going up at some point today, which is the two of us together just having a chat on camera, answering a couple of questions and talking about our day. So if you'd like to watch it, and I'm sure most of you will know Debbie's channel, if you'd like to watch it, it will be up today. If you haven't, by some strange quirk of fate, come across Debbie, she's Debbie's World. And she's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, and she's really worth going and taking a look at. Not just because I'm going to be in her video today, but because she's inspiring, she's motivating, and you know, she's at Target for over a year. That's no mean feat. So, yeah, I'm coming up to nearly 4 years at Target. In a month, 4 weeks' time, I'll be 4 years at Target. I need to get my backside in gear and get this. I need to get a few pounds off to get back into Target for my anniversary date. Otherwise, I won't get my 4-year sticker. So after meeting Debbie yesterday, I do feel quite inspired. I feel motivated. I feel a little bit more excited about the plan. We talked about the fact that we eat quite differently, but it works for both of us because there's no one set way to do this plan. You can eat your favourite foods and things you really like within plan, and I can eat my favourite foods and the things I really like within plan, but they don't have to be the same foods. Because I might eat quite a bit of fish, you might choose quite a lot of red meat. I'm not a fan of chicken, you might love it, but it's on plan. You know, so formulate the plan within the boundaries with the food you love, and I think that's the way to do it. I want to talk about why I came to Slimming World 4.5 years ago. It's because I'd started my weight loss journey independently. I had lost at that point 8.5 stone, and I was stuck. I had 2 big plateaus in my weight loss journey, one at about 15.5. I started at 22 stone, I plateaued about 15.5, then I got it moving again by making some changes. I plateaued again at 13 stone 8, and I was going nowhere. And it didn't matter how much food I cut out of my plan, how much walking I did, how I changed what I was eating, I was just stuck. My body had got used to being that way and got used to the way I was eating, and I needed something different to, you know, kick it off again. So I joined Slimming World at the beginning of May 2015, weighing 13 stone 8, and I was a good size 16. I started Slimming World at that point as a vegan because that was my idea, to change what I'd been eating from a lot of meat to like kickstart my body again. I did my first, I think probably 4 or 6 weeks at Slimming World as a vegan, and then I found that really difficult because I wasn't getting enough protein, so I was never full. And I think for me it's the fact that when I am properly on plan, I'm never hungry, that sustains me and keeps me going. So 6 weeks as a vegan, then a bit of a mess around with being vegetarian, which is something I used to be. I was a vegetarian for 10 years before I got married. And then I decided to just do what the book said. So I picked up the plan at 13 stone 8 on, I think it was the 5th of May of 2015. And by the 5th of December, so what's that, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, 7 months I was at Target. And I have since then dropped my target a couple of times by £7 each time. But why did I come to group. I came to group because I wanted to be a Target member. I've done Slimming World so many times over the years and never got within a mile of Target. I would get to a couple of stone away from Target and then I'd tell myself, hang on a minute, why am I paying Slimming World £4.95 a week just to step on their scales? Must be a bit thick, you know. It took me years to realise that wasn't all I was paying for. I was paying for the expertise and the training of my consultant. I was paying for the image therapy and the support and the social aspect of my group. But it wasn't until I found the right consultant that I respected her enough to realise that she deserved to be paid for what she was doing. And my £4.95 went in some part towards paying for the room, and believe me, some of the rooms they use for these groups, you know, if we start saying £100 for a room, around here, that's cheap. Some of the, you know, the vast amounts of money they have to pay to have these rooms every week, then the consultant deserves a wage, they have to buy all their stock in and stuff like that. It's not just a case of we pay £4.95 and that goes straight into the bank vault to headquarters, you know, and Mrs. Miles Bramwell benefits from every penny of it. There are a lot of expenses. And Slimming World training must cost a fortune because their standards are so high, you know. And I think sometimes I need to remind myself there's more to Slimming World, Jane, than just getting on the scales. You're not just paying to get weighed. You can get weighed at home for nothing. It's the support and the camaraderie and the love and the laughter and the tears sometimes in group that make it really, it's a valuable place to be for me. I need to be there. And in the 4.5 years I've been on Slimming World, I haven't missed a weigh-in. Not because I've always been able to get to my own group. I've gone to other groups and weighed in. I've been in other places and weighed in. But it's really important to me. It's my barometer, not on my feelings, but on where I'm at. Because I need to keep checking in and stopping myself going up, up, up. I've lost weight before. I've lost big weight before. I've lost 8, 9, even nearly 10 stone before. I've got to my lowest weight. I can't remember today whether I got to 10 stone 4 or 10 stone 6 when Joe was 16. I think I was 10 stone 6, but don't quote me on that. So either 10 stone 4 or 10 stone 6. And then remember that coincided with Joe's 16th birthday. By the time the summer came round that year, so July of that year, 6 months later, I was back up to 18 stone. That's how easy it is. And I know that there are other people who watch this video who will have done similar things, who will be nodding their heads and saying, I've done that too. It is that easy. This time I can't afford to do that because at my age, 63, I think this is my last chance saloon. So looking at why I came and now looking at what am I going to do because I'm still here, what am I going to do to keep myself motivated, what am I going to do to get the results that I want. I think basically I'm going to go back to what I did when I first came to Slimming World, look at what it says in the book and do it, and eat some of the things I ate back then. Now along the road I gave up things like Hi-Fi bars and that because they were way too sweet for me. Along the road, cutting out sugar, I also gave up Muller Lights. I haven't had a Muller Light for a long, long time. But we called it Asda on our way back from group this morning. And I bought some quarks, and I haven't bought quark for weeks and weeks, well, months. But I bought some quarks and I bought 10 Muller Lights for £4 in flavours like, what was it? Irish cream? Is that what I've had this morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad. I don't know if it's half a sin or 1 sin, that one, I'll have to check it. Mixed it with a tub of quark, crunched up finally 2 Weetabix, mixed it all together. This is what I used to have back then when I wanted to lose weight. And I think I just need to go back to having faith in the plan and not stressing myself too much about, you know, cutting out this and cutting out that. And Muller Lights are not my favourite thing. And I have been told recently that they're thickening them up. Well, I opened my tub this morning and spilled half of it on the worktop because it was like water, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Joe went, typical, you can clean that up now. But this is how I lost my weight, having things like that. And I think I just need to go back to that. Because last week I was having 3 Weetabix and I was having them with boiling water, which I actually quite like. But that was using 3 extra sins to have something with water. You know, this morning I've had a tub of quark and Muller Lite, 2 Weetabix. That's half a sin, or at most 1 sin. Then I can have my Yakult with a healthy bacteria for another 1.5 sins, and I'm starting my day in the same sort of place. I'm not using too many sins. I need to use sins in each of my meals. I don't save my sins up and use them at night, because that's not the way I eat. I'm not a snacker. I'm a 3 meal a day girl. And I'm back to saying my eating window, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And nothing is going to pass my lips after 6 p.m. except drinks. And that'll be coffee if I've got milk allowance left, because I use 2 A choices, and it'll be water if I haven't. And I'm drinking the sparkling smart water, which I actually quite like now. I've also dropped my coconut milk, which is a bit like, I felt like that last week. This week I'm feeling all right about it. When I first started having the coconut milk I was having, it was a Healthy Extra A choice. And I was maintaining at under 9 stone at that time, having it every day. And then I think I got a bit greedy about it, and I liked it too much, so I was having 2 A choices and then sinning the rest of the litre, and then still wanting more, and some days even sinning more than that. And then, in their wisdom, when Slimming World made the changes back in January, they took it off the Hex A list, which really ticked me off at the time. But I remember thinking, it's all right. I've always had it as a Healthy Extra A. I can continue. Who the hell do I think I am? If the book says it's not a Healthy Extra, it's not a Healthy Extra. And something I said in the video I made with Debbie yesterday is I get quite worried when people say things like, oh, I had a cappuccino when I was in Costa or Nero's or Starbucks or whatever. I'll count that as my Healthy Extra A. I remember when I got to Target, and I really maintained easily at Target, I didn't do things like that because it's not in the book. You don't know how much it's measured, and there isn't anywhere in the plan where it says a latte, a cappuccino or a hot chocolate can be counted as an A choice. And for myself, and I'm not saying other people have to do what I do because everybody's free to do what they like, but for myself I have to start looking at that again and saying, you're cheating yourself, you're tweaking the plan, and it won't work in the long term. Years ago, when I first did Slimming World, you could have a tin of full-fat corned beef and it was free. It's not today. Years ago, you could have a tin of Heinz macaroni cheese and it was free. It's not today. We can't live in the past. I think it's important to live in the day. And if today, my coconut milk, which I absolutely love, is not Healthy Extra A, then I shouldn't be having it as a Healthy Extra A. Just the way, you know, Kelvin, my group consultant's husband, always used to have the chocolate milk, because he's not a milky milk fan, but he always used to have the chocolate milk on his cereals, and because his wife is a consultant, she won't let him have it anymore unless he sins it. Because she's right, it is sins now. And it's things like that 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 are keeping me away from being like bang on target. I'm bending the rules, I'm tweaking things I shouldn't be tweaking. So what I've actually done is I've been into Tesco's in town and bought some St Helens goat's milk, which is what I used to have. Now I used to have the skimmed version, and Tesco in town, which is the only place that sells it, only sells semi-skimmed. So I'm going to have to use that as a Healthy Extra instead if I want milk. I've got to be real. The only way I lost my weight and the only way I kept it off easily, and I was keeping it off easily, was by being rigid with myself. Not saying I can get away with this, I can have that. I mean, we went out for lunch yesterday, Debbie and I went to Carluccio's, had a fabulous lunch, totally off plan. And you will hear me say on plan or off plan, because in my black and white world, I can only be one thing or the other. I could say, oh, I'm having a Chinese takeaway today. It's flexi, I'm not by the way, but I could. It's flexi sins. I'm sorry, I don't believe in flexi sins anymore, because none of us count them the way the book says we should. I've never heard anybody make a video and count them the way the book says we should. And my consultant says, set yourself 50 sins for your meal. Go out, enjoy your meal and count backwards. So you have this, you take off the sins. Well, I'm sorry, but sitting in Carluccio's yesterday with my mushroom risotto topped with truffle oil and Parmesan cheese, with my one piece of focaccia and with my dessert that I chose to have, fully knowing it would probably make me have a game, but that's my choice, and my glass of Bellini, how on earth would I have counted the sins in that? I could have kidded myself. I could have sat there and said, 15 sins for the starter. I didn't have a starter. 15 sins for the main course, 4.5 sins for the tiramisu, which was probably more like 40. If you can't count it because there's no proper way of measuring it, you might as well just enjoy it and then get back onto plan at the next meal. Don't beat yourself up about it, because one meal out, one meal off plan does not spoil the whole week. It's when we fall off plan because we're out of control. If we do it when we are in control, if we do it by choice, and then we choose to get back on plan at the next meal, we won't necessarily blow our week. My way of blowing my week is feeling obsessive, feeling compulsive, feeling tired, feeling hungry, whatever, stuffing my face when I know I shouldn't be because I'm thinking, sod it. I'm not in control then. And when it comes to the next meal, I get to the stage where I don't care whether I eat or not. Or I could kid you and say, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I haven't had anything to eat yet because I had too many sins yesterday. That's not plan. So I know what is plan, and I know what works for me, I just need to do it. Like I said to Debbie when she talked about starting a YouTube channel, just do it. I need to take my own advice and just do it. I mean, at one point on my weight loss journey, I weighed 8 stone 8. I'm really comfortable between 8.11 and 8.13. And this morning I weigh 9.12.5. So I've got a good stone to shed if I'm willing. Or I could just sit at this weight and say, it's all right, I'm in the 9 stones. But it's not all right because it doesn't feel as good. I mean, I've said on here many times, nothing tastes as good as being slim feels. Yesterday, the tiramisu tasted better than the way I felt, So, yeah, I need to stop practicing what I'm preaching. Rather than standing here and saying, this is what I should be doing, I need to be standing here next week and saying, this is what I've done. So I went to group this morning. That was a strange situation in my group because we meet in a rugby club. And for those of you who are into rugby, you'll know it's the World Cup final today between South Africa and England. I don't know if they've kicked off yet. What time is it, Joe? Do you know? Alexa, what time is it?
9:30.
Oh, yeah.
It's 9:31 a.m.
They would have kicked off. I think it started about 9ish. So good luck to England. But because we meet in a rugby club, the lads at the rugby club wanted their rugby club back so they could get together, get the ale flowing and support the game. So whereas we would usually have a group at 8 o'clock and a group at 10 o'clock, this morning we had a weigh-in, just one weigh-in, between 7 a.m. and 8:30. We had to be out of the building by 9:15. So we popped in about, 7:30ish? And got weighed, I think it was about 7:30 we popped in. Got weighed in and gained back the 2.5 pounds I lost last week. So it's not the end of the world. I'm in the same place I was a fortnight ago. Looking at my overall weigh-ins when I do month by month by month, in the month of October I lost 3 pounds. So I'm now working on the month of November, and we'll see where I am in 4 weeks' time as to what I can lose. I was going to say hopefully, but not hopefully, definitely, what I can lose in November. So I lost 3 pounds in October, but again 2.5 of them back today. So I'm still at a £0.5 pound loss over the month of October, which is a hell of a lot better than a half a stone gain, which I've done in the past. Just need to keep my eye on the ball. I just got to want to do this. And I tell you, after meeting Debbie yesterday, if I could bottle the way I feel after meeting somebody who's in the same position as me, who's trying to maintain target, who has been morbidly obese, so really knows what it feels like, who has had an incredible 15.5 stone weight loss. If I could bottle the feeling I got from meeting her, I'd be a millionaire. But we've all got that potential within us. We can all make choices, and what Debbie talks about is being consistent and making choices. And we can all make choices, and Debbie herself will say she doesn't always make perfect choices. She's human. But we both said yesterday when we were talking, we made much better choices when we were definitely on plan 100% of the time. And I know I used to get the odd comment where people saw me as being very rigid. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I like to be disciplined. I live much more comfortably in my own head when I am disciplined.
Sorry, you're at 25 minutes.
Okay, darling. Right, I'm going to go because, as I say, I've got to get ready and ring a taxi and get off to my friends to celebrate her birthday. And yeah, back on plan properly. I'm not going to say I'm making a commitment to you, I'm going to be accountable to you, because that's not fair on you. But I'm making a commitment to myself and I'm going to be accountable to myself. So, thank you for watching. And as I say, go and have a look at that video on Debbie's channel if you've got a chance. And give her a subscribe if you're not already subscribed to her. We'll be back next Saturday. Have a great week, everybody, and thanks for your lovely comments. Cheers.